Hi, I'm Ken, a volunteer at the Spellman Museum. I just had a little interesting project I wanted to share with you that took advantage of all the kinds of things that I do as a volunteer here. And I want to share some of those resources that we use and some of the things you might experience if you were a volunteer here at Spellman. So, here at the Spellman, we get a lot of donations. And one of my jobs as a volunteer is to go through those donations and see what's in the lots. And oftentimes we get very common collections in these donations, but sometimes we get some things that are a little nicer. And I'm spending some time going through one of those donations right now from Cuba. I came across this particular page. Let me turn the camera around and show you. So first of all, this is the page, the donation I'm going through from Cuba. It has a lot of nice things at the beginning, but I turned to this page here and I saw just this one little stamp sitting here on the page. Let's zoom in a little bit. You'll notice that it has an overprint, a 1-cent overprint on this stamp. Let me zoom in on this a little bit and show you some detail. So you can see in that stamp that there's a overprint of a 1, and the 1 has a little break in the left foot. I look up this particular stamp in the Scott catalog. That's Scott number 177. 177 has an item here, item A, that says that if there's a version with a broken figure 1. And so we indeed have a version with a broken figure 1. Much better catalog value for a variant with the broken figure 1. But unfortunately, in this catalog, there is no image of the broken figure 1 and what that might look like. So off to the library to figure out if this broken figure 1 is the broken figure 1 that we're looking for. So time for a little research in the Spellman library to figure out what stamp we have. Let's go on inside. This is the library that Spellman has. You can see it's full of all kinds of books, like a library should be. We'll talk about this wall of catalogs in a second, but there's also a whole bunch of stacks of books and lots of things that people have donated and we've acquired through the years. And our intrepid librarian Jeff is here to help. And so this is our wall of specialized catalogs in the library. You can just see how many there are from different countries. These are organized by country largely, and of course we've got Scott for worldwide and also Stanley Gibbons. But there are specialized catalogs for almost every country, and looking at this particular project, I came down to this section of South America and Islands catalogs, and in here I found a couple of catalogs for Cuba, and when I looked through these catalogs, they didn't have the information I was looking for to figure out exactly what the stamp I was looking at was. So I went and talked to the librarian. So I asked Jeff for some help with this research project. The stamp that I was looking for was not in the catalog, and Jeff had the brainstorm that since it was an overprint we were looking for, there might be a place that is different in the library that had that. Hi, Jeff.
Hi.
Jeff popped in a book that he had just in front of his hands and looked up the overprint catalog information and took me to a place in the stacks. I'll just walk us over there right now. Back here in the stacks, he handed me a catalog that was on this shelf, not a catalog, but a little book. Let's take a look inside that one. Okay, so this is the shelf that Jeff pointed me to, and in here were 2 books on Cuban overprints. So let's take a look at what we find inside here. Okay, so this first yellow one is pretty good. A lot of details on one specific stamp, but unfortunately this isn't our stamp. So I took a quick look through this to see if there was what we were looking for, but it's all focused on one single stamp. If you're into this stamp, come on down to the library. We have this book here for you. So I did come across this journal of the Guide to Cuban Philately. It's a guide to expertizing surcharges in Cuba, and this is probably exactly what we want. So a lot of great things in here. I spin forward and found kind of this standard stuff in here about how to identify and proof the various overprints by plate position. This is great, but the key thing I was looking for was right here on this page. This page has exactly what I'm looking for. That's the picture we needed. And let's see if we can zoom in there on Scott 177A. That's the stamp we're looking at. And you can see an image of the broken 1 variety.
That's exactly what I wanted to solve my mystery of what stamp that I have. So that's a great image of this. So Jeff, how did you figure out where this stamp was likely to be?
Well, I knew we had some specialized resources on overprints and took a chance and sure enough, we did have a couple of small books on Cuban overprints. So that's where I directed Ken, and he found the actual one that he was looking for. And as just after that, I was pulling out some periodicals, and a copy of the Cuban Philatelist came across my desk.
Thanks, Jeff.
Unfortunately, that's not the stamp we were looking for. The wrong break in the one. Still a really nice stamp and a fun find. This is the kind of work that I do as a volunteer. I have a lot of fun doing it. Why don't you come down and be a volunteer too and get to look at some really interesting stamps and have access to some really great research resources.